some culture can for you. Welcome to Colors of India. Let's take a quick look at the main stories today. Dancing together in perfect sync. Coming soon, the World Flute Festival. And the Shurpanagar story retold. When two artists perform together, they have to complement each other. That way, the Bharatanatyam recital by Srijit Nambiar and Parvati Menon was a refreshing and a welcome change. At the IIC organised dance program, Kalakshetra's Srijit Nambiar and Parvati Menon began their repertoire with a Vandanam that paid homage to Lord Chandramoule through Satkala Govindamarar song. This was followed by a traditional Jatiswaram in Kalyani Ragam. A Jatiswaram is a pure dance part of Bharatanatyam recital. Here, expressions are invoked to the musical sounds or swarams which are sung in the Bharatanatyam technique.
This is really lovely. In fact, just pulled me to divinity, the essence of life, and the rhythm of both the male performer and the female performer just matched as if it was just oneness.
The couple also performed a choreography by Leela Samson. Sri Swati Tirunal's Ananda Tandavam, where Shiva dances along with the Bhutakanas, while the gods kept tune with the mridangam, flute and rhythm. The dancers well expressed the energy and the creative force behind this dance.
Fantastic. From choreography side, from the viewpoint of aesthetics, it's very beautiful. It's full of beautiful, beautiful movements, abhinaya, and so nice. I think it's a perfect show.
The vitality of the dancers was complemented by the accompanying vocalists and musicians. They had Sri Sai Shankar on the vocals, Parthasarathi on the Natuvangam, Ramesh Babu on the mridangam and Ishwar Ramakrishnan on the violin. The clever use of space, synchronization of their steps, positions and postures. This duo got almost everything right. Now, when you think of the bansuri or the flute, we all remember Lord Krishna's sweet but unheard melody. Which is why the World Bansuri Festival or the World Flute Festival is something to look forward to. Krishna Prerna Foundation recently announced the third edition of the World Flute Festival, which is set to begin in August.
Pandit Hari Prasad ji has no limit to teach. I have to overcome limitations to send students and encourage students to learn flute. So that's the number one. Number two, we are going to use flute as doctor flute. And not just for entertainment, but to look at how to reduce people with blood pressure, use flute for the therapy, develop flute for management, which is to do focus. That's an amazing number. And you know, that's the real power of flute.
Kartikeya Vashisht, a young musician, performed on the Algora. Two different flutes are played simultaneously to bring out the desired tune, which gives the music a reverberating effect. At the World Music Festival, more than 55 kinds of forgotten Indian flutes will be showcased. Now, the Basuri and Lok Sangeet have a close connection, and at the launch party, Anwar Khan from the Manganeyar community performed a piece with the Kartal for support.
एक पारंपरिक वाद्य बन गया, जिसके लिए आज अरुण बुद्धिया राजा जी काम कर रहे हैं। ये बहुत अच्छी बात है। हमारा ये भी होना चाहिए, बच्चों को मालूम होना चाहिए कि ये क्या होता है, ऐसे क्यों होता है, इसमें आवाज़ कैसे आती है, इसमें तो हर वाद्य में तो तार और चमड़ा लगा होता है, ये सूखा बांस का टुकड़ा ऐसे क्यों होता है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये भगवान की तरफ से एक ऐसा दान था, वरदान था कि हम जो करेंगे उस दुनिया उसको फॉलो करती जाएगी।
When the music is ethereal, even small renditions can touch your heart, like the brief presentation by Pandit Hari Prasad Chaurasia. Nida Mahmood also showcased her designer Basuri, which will be auctioned at the fest. Nida's flute will be auctioned at the festival, and the money collected will go to the noble cause of making medical science affordable to the masses. On that highly positive note, it's time for us to take a tiny break on Colors of India. Don't go anywhere because COI will soon return. Welcome back. We have all heard of Shurpanakha from the Ramayana as a demon or a seductress. Now what if there is more to her than just that? A contemporary Kathak production explored this very possibility. In the darkness, a pair of feet adorned with gungrus stormed onto the stage. The Nayika had vengeance in her eyes, much like the raging fire in the background. With fluid footwork, she repeated, She was Shurpanakha. Simply titled Kathak, the performance was inspired by A.K. Ramanujan's 300 Ramayana. The audience saw the many faces of Shurpanakha performed by Kolkata-based Kathak dancer Aishwari Majumdar.
I came across the fact that there are many versions of the Ramayana and each character can be interpreted in different ways. So I thought Surpanakha was very interesting because people who grow up on the Valmiki's version, you just think of her as a Rakshasi. But there are many other versions. For instance, there's a Malay version which I refer to where they say that Ravan killed her husband. So, one can think of her as looking for revenge from Ravan because she was widowed.
Donning a simple silk blouse and lehenga with an occasional black robe to distinguish Shurpanakha from other characters, Aishwari travelled to and fro through dialogues and dance in 3 sections. The first one depicted a vengeful Shurpanakha who incites Ravana against Rama, who had killed her husband.
The images that we've used are interesting because they come as part of the narrative. It's not just a background, it moves the story forward. So at one point we have a Ravan silhouette and Surpanakha is talking to the image. So this is how we've used it in different ways, the narrative, the visuals. At one point it's showing multiplicity. At one point it's carrying the narrative forward, introducing a character. So we've used this in different ways. Also something else I've done, which is part of my ongoing exploration with Kathak, is to look at the boundaries between dance and theatre.
The second piece was a representation of Sita and Shurpanakha as 2 sides of the same coin. Holding a hideous mask to her face, Aishwari poses the eternal question to the imaginary magical glass. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all?
the artist has shown her own mind, her own individual thinking, and has really taken a courage to show what she thinks about Ramayana, Shurpankha, Sita, all those characters, and how it is blended in today's world.
The third depicted the relationship between Rama and Shurpanakha as an erotic encounter. Aishwari's Shurpanakha was not merely a demon and a seductress, but also a vindictive widow and a tragic victim. And Aishwari brought the varied emotions to life with her precise moves, accompanied by a set of musicians, interspersed with drama and live video installations on the backdrop. This was the artist's way of going beyond the mundane. Now, 22nd of April is celebrated across the world as World Earth Day, and what better day could there be to showcase an exhibition of paintings inspired by nature than this? Since 1970, 22nd April has been celebrated as World Earth Day. The idea is to spread awareness about nature and to learn to appreciate our environment. And both these elements were artistically portrayed in Dhananjay Mukherjee's work.
The Tree of Life is dedicated to nature, and I use lots of green color on nature's color. Green is various form of life. Without tree, you can't imagine any life.
The artist worships nature, and for him the color green represents God. Like the romantic poets Wordsworth and Keats, who saw God in nature, so does Dhananjayan.
The colors are beautiful. I mean, they're very vibrant, and at the same time, there is a sense of earthiness to them. And there's a lot of Krishna. There is also there is more female energy as I see, but there is also a yin and yang, or couple energies.
Man and nature exist together in the cosmos. This timeless relationship can be seen in his paintings as well, where the barks, trees and twigs form the faces of Buddha and Krishna.
I always love nature, and I think his paintings are very peaceful, and the exhibition is very nice. It has bright colors. I think there's some soul in his paintings.
Inspired by Western artists, Dhananjayan brings in the three-dimensional effect to his artwork. Here, he plays with different hues, making the picture come alive before a silent observer. Dhananjayan has put forward his message on Earth Day through his extremely refreshing artwork. Refreshing. That reminds us it's time for us to take a tiny break on Colors of India. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Laborious but tasteful. That's what the Soul of the Art show at Triveni Kala Sangam was all about. This is artist Rajiv Semwal's first solo exhibition. Black and white drawings dotted the walls, powerful sketches of men and women etched on charcoal, occasional splashes of red breaking the monotony. These are some of the features that grab your attention as you enter Drawings, the Soul of Art. Rajiv's work speak of stylized ornamentation against deliberate minimalism. The charcoal drawings open up for a direct and strong impression of form negating the intention to decorate. Most of his artwork is based on the female. Mother and child is an often repeated theme in his work.
बेसिकली मैंने वुमेंस को इसलिए दिखाया क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि उनको मैं अपने आप से रिलेट करता हूँ एज ए इमोशनल। मुझे लगता है कि लेडीज़ काफ़ी इमोशनल होती हैं, तो मेरा सेंस भी उसी टाइप का है। मैं भी काफ़ी इमोशनल टाइप का पर्सन हूँ, तो मैंने अपने आप को डिपिक्ट किया है एज ए वुमेन। चारकोल मेरा काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग कंटेंट्स बोल सकते हैं वर्क का। जो भी मेरा चारकोल का वर्क है वो काफ़ी स्पॉन्टेनियस है। जब भी काम करता हूँ तो मैं बहुत फीलिंग के साथ वो इमोशनल ब्लास्ट होता है।
The drawings are oriented with perfection in line and the dimensions emerge with dots or broken lines. The strength in these drawings lies in their boldness, and this form makes a positive impact on the onlooker. Rajiv's curator, Akshat, feels that Rajiv's works were ripe enough for a maiden solo.
He had been working with certain acrylics as well, but primarily all drawings. And he was getting into charcoals, which you can see, right behind us. They are so strong. There's a sense of freedom, there's a sense of spontaneity, and there's a sense of actual creative art that's coming out. Not to say that the pen and inks are not good. They are his journey as an artist. But what really pricked me was that it's time for him to move on.
Rajiv's charcoal drawings held a sense of passionate freedom which broke away from tradition in so many ways. His drawings are impressions of beauty which are imprinted on Rajiv's inner mind and emerges as black and white form on paper. These drawings are simple, straightforward and yet very intense. Now moving on, Carnatic music at its classical best was heard at the Tyagaraja Music Festival organized at the Andhra Bhavan. The evening started off with Dr. M. Narmada on her violin. Her signature Parur style of performing brought out the flexibility in the music and in her presentation. The second piece was from the Maharashtrian Natya Sangeet. Listening to her, it was easy to see that she was comfortable performing both Hindustani and Carnatic style of music. As the evening progressed, violin gave way to vocals. Soumya Srinivasan began with a Varnam by Poochi Srinivasa Iyengar called Ninnu Kori. It is a well-known composition, but Soumya's interpretation was different. She also sang Shivalokanadane Kandu, the name of Gopala Krishna Bharati's Nandanar Charitram Kriti in Maya Malava Gaula. Apart from being a good singer, Soumya is also the co-founder of Carnatic, an online portal for classical music and dance instructions. Lovers of classical music were seen participating in the show, some keeping time and the others humming their approval. And for a brief minute, I wondered if I was attending the Margari season in Chennai. Well, that's all we have for you this week, but I promise to be back next time with stories from World Dance Day. But until then, you can follow us on Facebook, and goodbye.